Two girls walked into the restroom and noticed Raven crouched in the corner,
FBI, open up!
messing with what looked like a hairbrush. They heard some faint buzzing or beeping sounds. At first, okay, so I always thought my classmates were super weird, but ever since you guys started sharing your classmates, I am pretty much sure that teenagers are almost same everywhere. This video might be triggering for some people, so watch it on your own risk. There are some suspicious stories that I have from my high school days. If you want to share your stories, you can send me in the Discord or comment below. I'll try to add them in my next videos. Also, just a warning, you might need a lot of bleach to wash the cringe from these stories. Okay, this one is about a guy in my class. We'll call him the sus guy for this video. So the sus guy is the one who is always known for his weird things in class. Whenever there is something suspicious going on in the class, he is the one everyone looks at, and rightly so, because he has always been doing weird things. In some early years at school, he was literally caught with a phone he stole from his dad. But we'll talk about that on another day. So this guy started doing business in class, giving people tutorials on the weirdest stuff I can't even mention for money. Sometimes he would become a boxing coach, telling boys how to win at a fight. Some boys really thought of him as the source of every weird knowledge.
Why, Dada, why?
This is business.
This is my swag.
I know, but I did business.
Shut up.
But here's the most problematic incident that made the school install cameras near the toilets. So he was always sharing weird tutorials on how to find suspicious stuff on the internet. He would give the boys written notes on how to find problematic material, if you know what I mean. He was never caught, so teachers just thought of them as rumors. But then a rumor started circulating in the whole school that the sus guy tells boys weird tutorials which makes them feel good. Yeah, that is really messed up. One time he was caught by some other boys in the class doing weird things and teaching others. Some students complained to the teacher, but he avoided it again. Then here comes the time when he was teaching something weird to other boys in restroom. Some other students told the teachers and guided them to toilets. The teachers opened the door and caught a group of boys with some really questionable things. The sus guy was literally dragged to the principal's office. His parents were called in and they were told what he was doing. The sus guy was kicked out of the school and his weird cult was given warnings.
Stop it. Get some help.
The school management then installed cameras near the restroom and a group of more than 4 people near restroom was prohibited. This incident made quite the headlines for years. So there was another guy in my class, a friend of the sus guy. Let's call him DVD Dave. From the outside, he seemed normal, maybe a bit quiet, but not someone you'd suspect of running a whole underground operation. Then rumors started flying around that Dave was handing out mysterious DVDs after school, telling people he had exclusive material you couldn't find online. Some thought it was just random movies or shows, but the whispers about questionable content got louder. At first, Dave only gave these DVDs to a few people he trusted, usually in hallway transactions or behind the gym after last period. We'd see him slip a disc to someone who'd quickly hide it in their backpack. A lot of us assumed it was just some anime or maybe a trending show he burned from the internet. But a couple of classmates claimed that what they saw on those DVDs was a lot more, let's say, disturbing than a simple anime. Still, no teacher had any proof, so they brushed off the rumors. The whole thing turned into a bit of a trend. Did you hear Dave's DVDs have that kind of stuff on them? Some students were curious, others were downright scared. Then one day, a kid ended up so freaked out by whatever they watched, they spilled the beans to a teacher. They didn't go into detail, but they made it clear these DVDs were far from school appropriate. The teachers and our vice principal started monitoring the usual handoff spots, the library corner, the cafeteria side entrance behind the gym. Sure enough, they caught Dave in the act, passing off a DVD to someone who looked terrified to even touch it. Both of them got hauled off to the office. Turns out Dave had a whole stash of these burnt discs hidden in a duffel bag. Once the principal got a look at the unacceptable material on them, Dave's fate was sealed. His parents were called in, and apparently they had no idea he was dabbling in anything like this. The very next day, there was an announcement about stricter locker checks and a reminder that any distribution of inappropriate media will result in immediate disciplinary action. Dave ended up expelled. No big surprise there. Nobody wanted another scandal like that. And anytime someone showed up with a random disc or started whispering about exclusive content, we'd all look at each other and think, nope, not going down that route again. So there was this girl in my grade, we'll call her Raven. She was known for being a bit secretive, always lurking around the hallways with earbuds in and a book clutched to her chest. Nobody thought too much of it, just a shy classmate doing her own thing. Then one day, everything changed when a few students caught her in the restroom with a strange looking device. It was between classes, and most students were hustling to get to their next period on time. Two girls walked into the restroom and noticed Raven crouched in the corner.
FBI, open up!
Messing with what looked like a hairbrush. They heard some faint buzzing or beeping sounds. At first, they thought maybe it was some homemade contraption for a science project, but Raven's posture was super tense, like she didn't want to be seen. The girls asked her if she was okay. Raven immediately tried to hide the device behind her back.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
Mumbling something about just checking my heart rate. One of the girls bolted to get a teacher. By the time the teacher arrived, Raven had stuffed the device in her bag, but she was still standing in the corner of the restroom looking rattled. The teacher calmly asked her what she was doing, but Raven just shook her head, refusing to answer. It turned out Raven had cobbled together some kind of personal gadget that was rumored to send mild shocks or vibrations. Some people said it was for self-defense. Nobody got the full explanation. Some said she was testing out a weird invention. The details stayed fuzzy, especially since Raven stayed tight-lipped even after her parents came in for a meeting. School administrators, of course, freaked out. The next day, the principal announced not bringing unauthorized electronic devices to school and hinting at serious consequences for anyone caught. Raven ended up suspended for a while. By the time Raven came back, she kept even more to herself, hardly speaking to anyone. Even now, if someone jokes about weird gadgets, you'll hear Raven's name pop up, followed by a dozen theories that still have no concrete answers. So there's this other story about a student, we'll call her Uwu Brat. She was basically the female version of the sus guy, always popping up when something weird or shady happened in class. You know how it goes, someone sneaks a phone in, or suspicious websites get pulled up on the library computers, and everyone's whispering. At first, it was small stuff. She'd be caught showing friends secret codes for online games, or scribbling strange cheat sheet formulas in the back of her notebook. Most teachers ignored it, figuring it was just typical middle school curiosity, but then rumors started spreading that she was giving out detailed tutorials on how to find all kinds of questionable material on the internet.
I don't like where this is going.
Apparently, she'd pass around little folded notes with instructions that made people either blush or freak out, depending on what they read. Still, nobody had proof. She was slick about it. She'd say, "Meet me behind the gym," or "check under your desk during homeroom," to deliver these mini manuals. But then came the day she got a little too bold. Word went around that she was teaching a group of students how to bypass certain restrictions on the school network so they could watch some very not school appropriate videos. It escalated when the principal heard rumors about unmentionable content being passed around. Soon enough, a couple of students snitched to the teachers, saying they'd seen her coaching a group in the restroom. The staff got suspicious, especially since that restroom had become a hotspot for random gatherings. One afternoon, the teachers pulled a surprise check. They barged into the restroom and found the Uwu Brat in full-on tutorial mode with a handful of wide-eyed classmates. Some had their phones out, and the teacher snatched a few of them on the spot, uncovering all sorts of, let's just say, edgy tabs open. The entire group was ushered to the principal's office, but the Uwu Brat got the spotlight for being the ringleader. She was expelled right away. Her parents were called in, and from what people heard, they were absolutely horrified to learn what she'd been doing all this time.